So, in the introduction here, they mentioned about the different types, Java, Scrum, SQL, programming, and the SVM. Okay. So, let us continue. Now, Agile, the SVM with Square. So, the SVM consists of 7 phases, as according to the formula. Understand? Okay, it's a total of 7 stages, but overall, actually, it's starting with the pre-project phase. Okay, means that you have to ensure, okay, what are the projects you are going to develop, what is the goals, okay, and then how to set up the project, okay. After that, you may have a feasibility phase. Now you can see that I use the Wikipedia. This is the SDM as an example. Okay, in short. That this here do not have 7 stages, right? But then it's okay one. Okay. So pre-project have feasibility and foundation. Okay. After that, okay, exploration. Then you start to engineer. Then this one you are going to split into the iteration already. After one iteration complete, again, okay, iteration, and iteration. Okay. So this is the SDM. Okay. So therefore, during the feasibility stage here, okay, feasibility or pre-project stage here, for the Square to implement, okay, you can have the step 1. You can have the step 1, which means that you may you may start to identify or to confirm the definition, understand, of the terms that you're going to use. Okay, so now look at here. Look at here. Okay, now this one is saying the 7 phases, right? Isn't it? Okay. So you can see that the first phase is the pre-project phase for the SDM. Okay, then followed by a feasibility study phases. See whether is it suitable or not. Okay, by considering feasibility study, we know that there are many 3 or 4 types of feasibility study, okay, in terms of cost, in terms of technical, okay. So these are what you want to assess whether you can start, okay, using the SDM or not. So after that, you follow by a case study. Means that you try to understand the organization business now. Understand? Okay, what is the business goal and so on and so on. So then you need then after that you understand the business. Then you start for the iteration, which is the functional model iteration. You start to create the diagrams, okay, reflecting what is the what the business need, what are the functions required, and so on. Because it's said as a functional model iteration. Understand? Okay, functional model. Then after that, you may have your start to implement and develop it, and then you have your prototype. Understand? Then we may come to another iteration for others part, okay, or maybe you continue with others part. Okay, so therefore you can see that, okay, during this functional model, okay, prototype, okay, the design and build iteration define and test the prototype, both of which involve cycle of 4 activity. When you want to, after you design and test during this phases, iteration, determine the product to be created. This iteration, what kind of product you are going to create. Agree on the method and timeline for the production. Produce the product, verify the correctness of the product. So this is inside the activity inside each iteration. Understand? Okay. Now this is just a explanation on the SDM. Okay. Now look at this one. You can see that when you can start the SQUARE, the square step in the SDM, after you complete the pre-project phase and feasibility study. Okay, then this SQUARE can begin with the business study. Okay, the feasibility study will generate a report from the SDM together with the risk log. Okay, then from this risk log, okay, then you can start your SQARE already. Okay, so know as I said, this is okay. From here, you can start to your square already, okay? Then from the risk log, okay, the first step, okay, agree on definition. This one is follows the scoping of business process. Agree on definition, okay? You have to document up the terms, okay? As I said, you need to know that, okay, this term is referred to this one in this project. Is everyone agree? If everyone agree, then means that, okay, you have the same thinking on the terms, okay? Then, after that, you may have your step 2, step 3, and, okay? Step 2 and step 3 is what? Step 2 is identify the goals. Step 3 is develop the artifact to support your security requirement, okay? So now, from your step 1, after you identify, okay, then you may proceed with your step 2 and step 3, okay? Know that, identify the high level goals. Understand? Identify the high level goal, and then you may produce the artifact. Let's say the scenario case, misuse case, forms, template, okay, to support your security, okay, security requirement, okay. So then, in the step 4, you perform the risk assessment in the risk log, because this risk assessment, similar thing, identify, categorize, prioritize the risk. Understand? Okay. So, in this step 4, in the DSDM, okay. So you may use some elicitation technique for security requirement. For example, accelerated requirements method. What is mean by accelerated requirement method? ARM. What is ARM? Accelerated requirements method. This is a general need, understand? So those techniques under this accelerated requirement methods is refers to those techniques that helping you quickly to get elicit or gather the requirement one. Understand? Okay. For example, interview, okay, question A, and so on. Understand? Okay. So this all belongs to the acceleration requirement method. Understand? Okay? Then look at here. The second paragraph, security requirement categorize and prioritize. Step 4 is the risk assessment in SQARE. Okay? The square. Step 4 square is the risk assessment. When you talk about risk assessment, categorize, prioritize. Understand? Categorize and prioritize the requirement. So maybe you can use such technique, for example, Morse code. What is Morse code technique? You have learned this one, right? What is Morse code technique? For us to prioritize or categorize the requirement. Morse code. Must have, should have, can have, would have. Am I right? Okay? Or maybe you can use win-win. What is win-win? Win-win means that all those requirements, you need to invite all those related stakeholders, sit down, discuss, okay? Maybe because some requirement you may have not agreed by other stakeholder one, understand? So maybe you ask them related but not agree one, then you ask them sit together, okay, discuss, then okay, come to this time, everyone agree, understand? Win-win. Triage, this one is a structure requirement gathering requirement method and then AHP is the is for complex system, for complex requirements, helping you to break those things the requirement into maybe a different group or subgroup of requirements so that it's easy for you to handle. But the AHP not necessarily is for requirement. It can be also for breaking a syntax, breaking a certain complex cases into those minor sub cases so that it's easy for you to handle. Understand? Okay. So what is meant by AHP? AHP actually is discussed is listed here. Where is AHP? Analytical hierarchy. process. Okay? So the full name, analytic hierarchy process. Now, continue. Continue, this one. During the business study, okay, as you can look at the first sentence, the SDM does not identify or state what kind of requirement elicitation technique you may use. Therefore, you have to determine the method yourself. Okay, but actually in the SQARE, you must follow lah, am I right? Okay, that is after you have the risk assessment, then you determine what techniques you should apply. Understand? Okay. So this is step 5 lah. Step 5 you integrate into this phases of the DSDM. Okay. Then continue. Okay. Then after you have your elicitation technique, you try to elicit the requirement. In this case, you may have the high level, low level requirement, okay, in your hand already. Okay. Then you may need to you have to draw up your software requirement. Okay. Continue business study. After that, okay, you may have your prioritized list. Okay, you have your prioritized list being created. Okay, and then you will start to assess your security requirement already. Okay. Now look at this one. Key product for applying Square include business area definition with security definition and goals, updated risk log and high level risk, development plans, system architecture definition, prioritized requirement list. These are the products. Okay, when you apply, then you may create when you apply Square in Agile. Okay. When you come to functional model iteration, okay, you may need to repeat 6, 7, and 8. Okay, you may need to repeat 6, 7, and 8. Okay, what is 6, 7, and 8? 6, 7, and 8 is this one. Elicit requirement, categorize requirement, prioritize requirement. Understand? Okay. Why? Because this is iteration. Each iteration in the DSDM may not intended for the same part of the system. Understand? So different part, then you have repeat the step 5, 6, and 7 in the iteration. Okay? You see this one? Okay? So now continue. Continue. Okay. Now, again, functional model iteration. Now, during the functional model iteration, these are the product you need to concern. The functional model, non-functional requirement list. Okay, means that apart from the security requirement, functional model review record, time box plan, update risk log. Okay. So now you come to requirement prioritization and elicitation. So it's very common. This one, when you elicit the requirement using the requirement techniques that you have identified, okay, then as you can see that here mentioned that you have to prioritize the requirement because this one may be the iteration. Okay, you may need to revisit or repeat this step. Okay, so then when you want to prioritize, okay, you may base on the severity level, or somehow there is a research saying that you may base on the protect skill, large, medium, and small. Okay. just now this is what I say lah. Okay, by this research, Kane and Anu, okay, they prioritize the security, okay, according to the project skill. Small skill, which means that, okay, the project that involve few or not recognized risk, okay, so we can complete within 1 year, have a low budget. Medium skill, this medium skill project may have some known risk, okay, require at least a year to complete. Large skill means that very challenging, have a quite high risk on that, okay. So this author they do a research on prioritization based on the project skill. And also, you can see this diagram, this graph here. This graph, under there he listed a list of what we call prioritization techniques. Okay, prioritization techniques. From the study 2014, okay. So the most useful, not say most useful, most cited, okay, is the AHP, analytic hierarchy process, AHP, okay, is the most cited. Most cited means that most people concerned on this technique, okay, followed by this one, followed by quality functional deployment, planning game, and so on, okay. So these are a list of prioritization technique. If you want to know further on each of these one, are very difficult also, okay. You can refer to this journal. You can refer to this journal, okay. This is a review paper, okay. You can refer to this journal for all these techniques here, okay. That's it. Our chapter 2. Any question? No question. No questions are asked. Or you don't know question to ask. AHP is a type of requirement prioritization technique. Okay, so it's same with the analytic hierarchy process. This AHP is suitable for complex situation. Okay, if a system or require very complex, you may break it into a smaller or sub requirement or sub part. Okay, so it's easier for you to handle. But this one is not necessary for requirement. It can be for others purpose also can. Understand? Like the development, other development stages also possible one. You get me at last, okay? Okay, anything else, class?
Bye bye.
We still have 45 minutes left. We still have 45 minutes left. Is it too easy? Okay, then go first. Same, you still have time.